Hello and welcome to another 5-9 gaming video. I'm Waffles the Asian Yenbear, and today I'm gonna let you know what you can expect when the Ghosts and Goblins reboot, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, drops on the Switch on February 25th. Retro gamers will probably be quite familiar with the Ghosts and Goblins franchise, as it made quite the name for itself back in the day. It was a side-scrolling run-and-gun platformer released in 1985, created by Tokuro Fujiwara and developed by Capcom. It gained popularity due to its incredibly unforgiving difficulty level. In fact, the franchise has remained Capcom's 13th best-selling franchise, even with the last entry being released over 10 years ago on iOS devices. While this franchise has had a variety of spin-offs, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection is a reboot that promises to be a love letter to the original game, and that includes the original difficulty. However, I'm sure that modern-day Souls players will be up for this challenge. This platformer has players taking on the role of Arthur, a brave knight facing off against hordes of monsters and the undead to save a princess from the all-powerful Demon King. It's quite the classic setup, and veterans of this franchise will recognize the iconic demons like the Red Armor. You progress through several areas, all with their own unique quirks and challenges that come with any platformer, and there are checkpoints, but many of the older games were not quite as generous with those as you'd expect if you're newer to the franchise. If it's anything like the original game, you can expect maybe one per level. As one can also expect with most platformers of this nature, at the end of each stage lies a boss battle with a creature that is much larger than you. However, one thing that's new to this edition of the series are the cutscenes for those boss battles. You'll find that these are when the games will step away from the retro aspects and feel a little more like a modern day game. Though overall, the game strives to give off a retro vibe, even using the 2D art style that feels like it's ripped from arcade games of the past. Playing through each level is going to feel like blast of nostalgia for the veteran players. As you progress through each level, you'll find various upgrades to help you proceed. Among them are the armor upgrades, which can slightly improve Arthur's defensive capabilities against projectiles, but they come with a caveat that's been a tradition throughout this entire series. No matter how good your armor is, it falls off if you're touched by an enemy. Once Arthur loses his armor, he's going to be left in only his boxers, and he'll die if he's hit again. You'll need to keep moving and avoiding enemies if you want to survive this challenge. However, there are a number of ways in which players can upgrade their offensive power. First among them are the various weapons. Each one functions differently and will replace the player's current weapon if they're picked up. Players will need to consider both the benefits and drawbacks of each weapon before switching, although the knife is a fan favorite. The second offensive aspect players will want to be aware of are the magic upgrades. Unlike the weapons, Arthur is able to hold more than one type of spell at a time. There's quite a range of powerful magic attacks to choose from, so players will want to be including these in their strategies. And the third tool in your belt are the skills. These function as passive effects that help upgrade different parts of Arthur's kit, such as his inventory space, allowing him to hold more than one weapon. You can obtain both magic and skills by finding hidden creatures called umbral bees in each stage. You then use those to unlock different parts of a skill and magic tree in the menu. And players who can use all three of these offensive tools to make their way through every area and beat the final boss are in for a surprise. Just beating this game once is not enough. As with other Ghosts and Goblins games, your first run is just there to prepare you for the more difficult second playthrough. This takes the form of the World of Shadows, a harder and darker version of the game that comes with its own set of challenges. But never fret, while this game is intended to be a difficult challenge for hardcore platform players, this new version does have a few other difficulty levels for the uninitiated. The easiest difficulty, the Page Path, grants you immortality and lets you just explore the game and learn the controls. However, this path does not give you access to all the game's content. The second difficulty, Squire, does let you play through the full game, but seems to have a drastically reduced amount of enemies. The medium difficulty, Knight, is there to give newer players a challenge, but can also work as a nice refresher course for veterans. But the crux of the game lies in the Legend Path, the most difficult experience. This is custom made for people who love the challenge of the original games. When the developers stated that they wanted to preserve the original's difficulty, this is what they meant. And that's gonna wrap things up for me here. Are you picking this game up, and did you play the original? Let us know in the comments down below, and do be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep updated on important gaming news. You can find links to our other social media accounts in the description below to stay even more connected, and I hope everyone has a good day, a good week, a good life. Now, goodbye.